Now we're going to look at the foreign exchange market. It's known as Forex, F-O-R-E-X. Notice foreign exchange. The supply and the demand graphs are the same as for other products. In the Forex market, money is the good being marketed. The graph looks like this. And notice, let me get in here closer. You can see that we've got yen per dollar instead of price. So where you would put P, it is yen per dollar. Quantity is quantity of dollars. We get supply of dollars, demand for dollars. Go ahead and write this down in your notes. Draw it so that it looks like this. You have a fraction, yen over dollars. Whatever the denominator is, tells you the currency that is being examined. This should always be the same as the quantity. Notice in this graph, and again, go ahead and copy this graph down in your notes. You have supply of yen, demand for yen. This is the price per yen, dollars per yen. That's how many dollars are spent for the yen. So we're looking at Japan. If an American travels to Japan, Americans will have to buy yen with dollars. Oops, let me move this. So Americans are buying yens with dollars. Americans supply dollars and demand yen. So on the graph, the way it would look, what we would do is we're going to supply dollars. So if we're supplying dollars, we're going to be drawing in a new supply graph. That's going to be S supply 1. Notice what happens. The price, or yen per dollar, this was P original, this is P1. This is the original quantity. This is the new quantity. Makes sense. If Americans are supplying dollars, there's going to be a greater quantity of dollars now in the market. The supply is increased. The price of dollars is going to go down. That means the dollar will have depreciated. Notice when you look at the two graphs, the curves shift in the same direction because we're going to have an increase in the demand for yen. So we have D yen 1. So notice the same person was supplying dollars and buying yen. What happens to yen? This was P for yen. This is P1 for yen. This is the quantity of yen originally. This is the new quantity of yen. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. When you look at the two graphs, the curves shift in the same direction, but one graph has changed supply while the other changes demand. What does that cause to happen? Increased supply of dollars decreases the price of dollars. That's called depreciation of dollars. In other words, the dollar is of less value compared to the yen because the supply had increased. An increase in the demand of yen increases the price of yen, or appreciation of yen. anytime we have a depreciation of one currency, we're going to have an appreciation of the other currency. Take a look at it. We'll go back to the graph. Notice it's a two-part process. Increase in supply of one currency causes its depreciation. The demand for the other currency causes its appreciation. There is this constant change that's taking place in the market. So now where does that take us to? Let's take a look at two problems. Okay? I'd like you to try problem number 1. Problem number 1 says, the price of U.S. goods rise relative to the price of German goods. Remember, German goods are sold in terms of euro. Go ahead and set up your particular graphs. So draw the pair of graphs, euro over dollar, and we have the quantity of dollars, so this is the U.S. graph. You can write down up here, U.S. This is going to be the German graph. All right, this is our starting point. If the price of U.S. goods goes up relative to the price of German goods, what's going to change on the U.S. graph? Americans are going to be demanding less expensive German goods. So therefore, Americans are going to be supplying dollars again. The curve is going to shift to the right. That's going to cause a change in price. We were P1 there, P there rather, and this is P1. We had a quantity here. We have a new quantity there. What happened to the American dollar? If you said it depreciated, you are correct, because Americans are demanding less expensive German goods. The US dollar will depreciate. Well, what happens in Germany? The euro is going to have a greater demand because Americans are going to be buying the less expensive German goods. The original price and quantity are there. After the increase in demand, we have an increase in price and an increase in quantity. So, Germans see the euro appreciate while the US dollar depreciated. Okay? Notice. Let's try another one. Make sure you've drawn these particular graphs. If you need to, stop the video and draw the graph. All right, problem number 2. All right, problem number 2. French tourists flock to Mexico beaches. What would the two currencies be that you would be looking at? Well, for France, France uses the euro, just like Germany. But what is the currency of Mexico. That's right, Mexico uses the peso. So we're going to have two graphs. This time it's going to be euros per peso. If you don't know the symbol for a particular currency, you can always write the name of the currency out. You don't have to use the symbol, but you do have to label it. Remember, this is the price of pesos in terms of euros. Euros per peso. So we've got peso down here in the quantity label, supply of pesos, demand for pesos. On our accompanying graph, we've got pesos per euro for France. This is the French graph. This one is Mexico. All right, so we get supply of euros, demand for euros. This is the quantity of euros. What's going to happen here? Go ahead and you change the graph the way you think it should be. If French tourists are visiting Mexico, what are they going to be doing? They're going to be demanding pesos. And so an increase in the demand for pesos, there, that was the original price of the peso and quantity. So pesos would appreciate, and what's going to happen then to the euro? Frenchmen are going to be supplying euros. When Frenchmen supply euros, that's going to cause then the price of euros to go down. And when the price of euros goes down and the quantity of euros is going to go up, what has occurred? If you say that it depreciated, you are correct. The peso appreciated. All right. Notice when one currency appreciates, the other currency depreciates. If, when you draw the curves, you have both appreciating or you have both demonstrating depreciation, you shifted one of the curves incorrectly. Always think in terms of what is it that the person buying the currency is doing. They're supplying their own currency. The currency that they're buying is the one that has the demand. So buying currency is demand, supplying currency is what the